Something is moving around my apartment building at night. By Salmon _ 1935. I don't know when any of this started, but it's been a week now when things are getting out of hand. So in case anything happens to me, this post might help to shed some light on the situation. I work in a car dealership outside of town as a security guard. I'm on the day shift and the guy that takes my place at 6 p.m. is always 30 minutes late. But he's a pleasant fellow to hang around. So when he finally gets his ass in his post, we spend a bit of time catching up with one another. In short, once I finally get home, it's around 8 p.m. So after I enter my apartment, I just plop myself on my bed and fall asleep like a rock. I like my job though. The pay is decent, my co-workers are nice, and my boss is not a total dickhead. But honestly, I am tempted to switch places with a night shift guy because I don't feel safe staying in my apartment at night. Last Saturday, my boss gave me a week off. Said I deserved it after 6 years of doing a good job. An entire week for myself, man. It felt like being a kid again, you know. I've never had so much free time on my hands before. So that night, after finally getting my apartment in order, I just sat myself on my old ass armchair with a good glass of rum, smoking a cigar. I know I was spoiling myself. But then it happened. A loud thumping echoes outside my door, as if an elephant was walking in the hallway. I almost spilled my drink when it happened. It felt like a fucking earthquake. My place is very old, so if an earthquake were to hit me, I was in deep trouble. But earthquakes are constant, right? They don't sound like footsteps. As I was still frozen on my armchair, thinking of my next move, I heard a knock on the door. It was slow, rhythmic like a clock, but it was also strong and aggressive. I wanted to ask who was there, but a gut-wrenching feeling suggested me to stay still. I put my glass down and bit down on my cigar. I was so tense I thought my veins would burst, and yet I was cold, shivering like a scared lamb. It was something almost primal, you know, as if something in me immediately recognized the danger that was waiting beyond the door. The knocking became faster, more violent, then my door started to shake. I thought it was about to fly off its frame with how aggressively that fucker was beating on it. I was tempted to reach for the gun in my uniform. But what if I wasn't fast enough? Maybe I could have hid in the bathroom or in the bedroom. But what if it breaks down those doors too? As my mind was rushing with countless hypotheticals with how this situation was about to escalate, the knocking stopped. For a moment, everything was silent once again. Then, the thumping returned, slowly moving away from the door. The taste of the tobacco from the cigar I've been chewing on since the whole thing started almost made me puke. As my body loosened itself and all sensations finally came back to me. Then I heard knocking again, but this time it wasn't at my door, but at my neighbour's. I haven't really seen much of the other people living in the building, mostly because I spent most of my day at my job. But I saw my neighbour once, a college student, A girl with short red hair, always wearing a pair of baggy jeans. She always tried to avoid talking to me, so I stopped even trying to engage in usual neighbour talk with her. Dear God, what do you want from me? I heard her scream at the top of her lungs. I never heard her so desperate. Am I that much of a heavy sleeper that I've never heard all of this before? I will open the door, okay? So I can finally see your ugly mug and smash it, you stupid bastard. A part of me wanted to scream at her, telling her to shut up and keep the door closed. But I was too scared. I couldn't do it. I heard the door being flung open, then a moment of silence. Her unassuming surprise was kind of reassuring. Maybe it was just some guy making noises and scaring off people. When I heard the door shutting, I exhaled a sigh of relief. Then she started screaming. I jumped backwards by the unexpected screech. It sounded like she was in pain. What are you doing to me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to dial in 911, but they wouldn't answer, saying the number didn't exist. How the hell did it not exist? So I decided to at least record the whole thing. She kept apologizing to someone, begging them to stop doing something to her. Her screaming then turned into guttural moans as her words started to sound distorted and disconnected. She kept moaning, "I don't want this," or something similar to that. Then after an excruciating 15 minutes of recording, the screaming and moaning stopped, and all I could hear from the other side of my wall was a wet, disgusting noise that sounded almost like stepping on a pie. Then the thumping and the knocking began once more, becoming more and more distant. Silence never felt so good in my life. I'm pretty sure I passed out after that. The next day, as I woke up on my floor, I immediately tried to call 911. This time the number existed. A couple of officers came to interrogate me. I explained the whole situation and even gave them the recording. They looked shocked, but they believed me. They told me to keep recording these events to see if they happen again. Then we all went to my neighbor's apartment. The door was locked, as if nothing happened. They started knocking. Just the sound of their knuckles hitting the termite-ridden wood of that door was enough to give me chills. It reminded me too much of that awful, awful night. As nobody responded, they kicked it open. That place was a mess, with hundreds of pictures of grotesque monsters attached to the walls with pins and nails, connected together with a red thread, while hundreds of books and tapes were scattered throughout the room. Whatever the kid was researching, she got way out of hand with it. A big, wet stain tainted the carpet in the middle of the room. I'm not sure what liquid it was, but it smelled bad. Like a rancid piece of blue cheese that had been left in the fridge past its expiration date. They took practically everything that was in the room and told me to record what I heard during the night. Talking to the other neighbors seems fruitless. Everybody says they didn't hear a thing. Damn liars. Some of them must have heard, The damn bastard goes to every single door on this godforsaken building. Somebody must have heard something. Why are they trying to cover up the whole deal? Is this some sort of cult? Some kind of weird pagan ritual? I don't know, and it won't be my problem any longer. I gave all my recordings to the cops, and I've made this post as a last resort. I'm sleeping in a hotel near the dealership tonight, and I'll keep doing so until they change me to night shift. I ain't sleeping in that hellhole no more. I've done my part. The boys in blue can take it from here. Whether this is a cult thing or some X-Files bullshit, I want nothing to do with it. Wait. Someone's knocking at the door.